Good morning, second grade, and welcome to another awesome week of learning. It's Miss Lloyd, and we are going to go over one of our topics for global studies. This will be our instruction for week 4, and our topic is voting at a glance. Our standard is 5.3.2.J, and that standard reads, what a voter should know before voting to make voting understandable and meaningful. So in this video, we'll be going over some vocabulary words and terms used in discussions around voting. Our objective says, I can explain the process of voting in an election by the end of this lesson. So some things that we're going to go over. Election. What is an election? Take a second and just think, have you ever been a part of an election? Have you ever elected something or someone for a job? So the definition we have for election is the process of choosing someone for a job. The process of choosing someone for a job. So some of you may remember that before we chose class president and we elected a class president earlier in the school year. Each class did it differently. And that was just an activity that we did that day. Another term that we have is a ballot. Everybody say ballot. And a ballot is a piece of paper used to vote in an election. So that is the piece of paper that you would actually write the person that you are voting for. You would write their name on that piece of paper. So when we did an example of voting for class president, you voted for the scholar that you wanted to be the president, and you wrote their name on a piece of paper. And that piece of paper is called a ballot. Sometimes people do not use paper ballots. Some people in organizations are going electronically, so you'll vote online and you won't have to have an actual piece of paper, but you can always print out the things and people that you voted for online onto a piece of paper. So ballots can be electronic or paper. And over here we have the candidate. The candidate is the person who is trying to get elected. So maybe before our class election, we had 3 scholars that were actually interested in being president of our class. And those 3 scholars would have been the candidates for you to choose from. So we would have 3 scholars, and you would have to choose scholar 1, scholar 2, or scholar 3. And those scholars would actually be the person that is trying to get elected. So those are the candidates. And next is the vote. The vote is the choice you make in an election. So when you write who you want to be the president of our class on a piece of paper, that is your vote. Your vote is up to you, and it is your vote. It is who you believe is fit for the position that you are hosting an election for. In our case, it would be our class president. And up here in the circle, this is our example is voting for class president, voting class president. And also Miss Lloyd wrote election day. So a lot of us may have noticed that in our school at GLASW that sometimes we have visitors in our building on election days, and they come in and they use Mrs. Clark's office and they vote, or sometimes the auditorium, and they vote, and it's an election day, but we still have school. So some of our assignments for this week. Your first assignment for Monday is to watch the video. Tuesday, your assignment is to create a voter's registration card. And a voter's registration card confirms that you are registered to vote. And it tells all of your information, and it actually tells where you are going to vote at. So Ms. Lloyd lives in West Philly, and there are a lot of voting places in West Philly because West Philly is pretty big. But my voter registration card will tell me specifically which place in West Philly is close to me for me to vote at. So you're going to make a pretend voter's registration card, like the one Miss Lloyd has here. So this is Miss Lloyd's voter registration card. And on it, it should have a space for your name. It should have a space for your birthday. You can put your school and your teacher's name. And also a signature. It's where you sign your name in cursive. You write your name in cursive letter. So mine says Miss Lloyd. It says my birthday, which is April 3rd, 1997. The school is GLASW. And my teacher or my boss, Mrs. Evans. And down here I have my signature, my first name, and my last name. So one of your assignments is to create a voter's registration card, and sometimes it has a picture. So I want you to also create a voter's registration card just like this. Take a picture and upload that picture to your assignment. Another one of our assignments is to listen to a read aloud titled Clifford for President, or there's another story that I will post from Storyline Online called Duck for President. So in both of those stories talk about voting and voting for a president. And another one of our assignments is to actually create a poster as if you were running for president. So your poster will say, vote for your name. So mine will say Miss Lloyd for president. And you draw a picture and you put some interesting things that would make people want to vote for you. That is another one of our assignments. And we also have a writing assignment to go along with this lesson. And that writing assignment is to write in so many sentences. I believe it's 10 to 15 sentences. If I were president, I would. You have to finish that writing prompt and be as detailed as possible. And tell Ms. Lloyd, what would you do if you were president? What would you do? What would be some things that you would change? What would be some things that you would keep the same? And what would be some things that you would implement or put into place? Again, our objectives state I can explain the process of voting in an election by the end of this lesson. And our standard is 5.3.2.J, which state what voters should know to make understandable and meaningful voting choices. Thank you. Please reach out to Ms. Lloyd or any of the second grade teachers during our office hours, Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. if you have any other questions about this lesson. Thank you and have a good rest of your day.